Hola, buenos dias. So for this video, we're going to look at some stem changing verbs or boot verbs, as I like to call them. And these verbs are called stem changing verbs because they have a change in their stem when you're conjugating them. And if you're not sure what the stem is, I'll tell you right now. So when I take this verb pedir, when you guys go ahead and try and conjugate this verb or use it in its different forms, we're going to take this IR off and remove it. And then what's left, that part right there, that's called the stem. So they're called stem changing verbs because that is going to change in the verb. And then I call them boot verbs for another reason, and you'll see why right now. So let's take this verb pedir over here. I'm going to go ahead and draw up a verb chart for that. Now, if you were to look this verb up in your textbook or maybe on a vocab set, you might see that it says next to it E-I. Now, what that means is that the verb pedir, the E is going to change to an I in 4 different locations. I'm going to show you what those are right now. So the yo form, which you guys know hopefully is right over here on the top left, the E will go to an I. So I have P-I-D, and then I'm just going to add my O ending for an IR verb because for the O form, I put an O on it. So pido is I order or request or ask for. Pedir means those different things. Next one down is the to form. So the to form is going to be P-I-D-E-S. And then the one below that is the he, she, or usted form. And that's going to go to P-I-D-E, pide. I'm going to jump to the right, which is the ellos, ellas, ustedes form. And that's going to be P-I-D-E-N. Now, what happens here is at the top of this chart, on the top right, the nosotros, the we version of it, the E does not change to an I. So we have pedimos for we order, and then the vosotros version is going to be pedis, like that, with an exclamation mark over that I. So the reason that some people, including me, call them boot verbs is because I could make kind of a boot-like drawing around the ones that do change. And the ones that are outside of this boot do not have that change. So I often refer to them as boot verbs. So pedir is a very common stem changing verb. It means to ask for, order, or request. I'm going to give you 4 more of these boot verbs where the E changes to an I. So they're just going to be this kind right here, okay? Let me go ahead and clear the screen if I can. There we go. All right. So the next verb I want to give you is the verb decir, which if you've been in Spanish class for a while now, you've probably heard someone say, ¿Cómo se dice? How do you say? So you might already know one of the versions of this. So that dice that you might hear people say for ¿Cómo se dice? Is this version of decir right here, which means, if you're not sure, decir means to say or to tell. So how do you say? So again, if I know the bottom left, the he, she version of it, if I add an S to it, I'll have the to form. If I add an N to it, I'll have the ellos form. Okay, now you might think right away, okay, if this is dices here, and the next one below that is dice, then the yo form might be diso. But decir is an irregular verb, and kind of like tener, you know how tener goes to tango? Decir, the yo form goes to digo. So I say or I tell would be digo. Now remember the whole boot thing that I was talking about on the last one right there? If I make a boot around here, that'll tell me that the ones that are over here, the nosotros and the vosotros, those ones will not change the E to an I. So it'll be decimos. And then the one beneath that in the vosotros box will be decis, like that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and show you one more verb, and then I'm just going to give you a little bit more information. So the next one I want to show you is repetir. Now, if you want to take a second and kind of quiz yourself, that might not be a bad idea. So repetir means to repeat, which you could probably guess that one. And the E does change to an I. Now, if you're looking at this one and you're unsure which E it is that changes to an I, it's always the E that's closest to the end of the verb. So this is the E right here that will change. So if you want to pause the video really quick and take a second and try and fill out this verb chart with the different versions of repetir, go ahead and do that, and I'll start doing it for you in just a second. Okay, so here come the correct conjugations of repetir. So I repeat is going to be repito. And then the to form will be repites. The he, she form, I'm just going to drop the S from the to form, and I'll have repite. And I'll jump over to the right and do the eos form because it's also going to have that change, repiten. And then in the nosotros, it will not have that E to an I change, so repetimos. And then the vosotros version will be repetís. And there's an accent mark over that I. And then I wanted to show you just two more verbs and just their yo version because it's just a little bit irregular. So I have the verbs seguir, which means to continue or follow, and the verb conseguir, which is kind of like to get, like I get a gift for my birthday, for example. And these ones follow those patterns I was showing you on those other verbs where this E is going to change to an I in the 4 places like the other ones did. The one exception here, not exception, but one thing that's weird about these 2 verbs is just the yo form of it. So I'm going to tell you what that is. So the yo form is, we know it's going to be SIG because I know that the E changes to an I. The only thing here is that the U disappears just in the yo form. So sigo is the yo form. But for the rest of them, the U comes back. It doesn't go anywhere. Now you can probably guess that conseguir, since it more or less has seguir in it, the conjugations are exactly the same. It just starts with con. So it would be consigo for the yo form. And just in case you're curious, the 2 form where I said the U stays in it goes to consigues and then etc. So seguir is going to be this, oh, sorry, I can't spell. So seguir will be sig, A's, like that. All right, so hopefully this helps. If you have questions, let me know. In the description of the video, I'll post a link to another video where I talk about boot verbs where the E changes to an IE, or the O changes to a UE, or the U changes to a UE. And then there's also a bunch of other links in that video which take you to even more videos on these stem changing verbs if you want even more help. If you have questions, let me know. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys in the next video. Hasta luego.